Hey, welcome everybody. My name is Michael Camo. I am Director of Content for T3 Live, and I'm here with JR Romero because it is our favorite day of the quarter. It's Nvidia earnings day. And so we brought in the single greatest trader in the state of Idaho to illuminate us as to what's going on. JR is too modest. He is the greatest person in that entire state. So JR, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good.
Are you excited for? Is it just another day in the office, or are you particularly excited because it's Nvidia earnings day?
As long as the market moves, Michael, I'm always very excited.
Okay, all right.
I'm easily
So
excitable.
okay, all right. Okay, so seems like expectations are high for Nvidia. The stock's up 92% year to date. It's number one in the Qs. It's number three in the SPX. You know, like estimates have gone through the roof. It seems like there's the Wall Street's playing this silly game saying like we expect Nvidia to beat our estimates, which begs the question, of course, then why haven't you raised your estimates more? But I think that the big question everybody wants to know is what will it take for Nvidia to get above 1,000?
The wind just has to blow in the right direction, Michael. They want to take it higher.
No shit. So how hard does the wind have to blow? We can use foul language here. So feel free. How hard does the wind need to blow?
Make me call your parents, Michael. It has not much. Obviously, there are really high expectations around Nvidia. The thing that could hamper the parabolic trajectory of Nvidia, of course, would be delivery issues, supply chain issues, and so on and so forth. We know demand is staggeringly high, and they can't push these things out the door fast enough. So that would be the one catalyst that would potentially affect stock price.
Okay. Are you doing anything with the stock today, or are you in just wait and see mode?
I'm in wait and see mode. We've had some really nice runners today. Moderna and the Solars, chief among them. They've been really, really good. It was on, Moderna was on my watch list this morning. Unfortunately, I missed the move, but our room is really ringing the cash register on Moderna today. A lot of our traders took it, and we had a 155.25 target, and it looks like you're ramping up for another leg higher, unbelievably.
Okay, but are you trading Nvidia at all today, or are you just waiting for that one, or are you just waiting to see the report?
Nvidia's chopping around. Every dip around 944 is bought, and every rip to 950 sold. So it's just trading in a range. There's a lot of positioning going on, a lot of chop. So I'm leaving it alone.
Okay, all right. So let's talk a little bit about the broader market. So you've been steadfastly pretty positive about the market overall, which has been correct. The S&P's up, I think, about 13% year to date. Well, what do you see going forward?
I told the room jokingly, whenever Tom Lee and I are in agreement, hang on to your pantaloons, something terrible is about to happen. But the market's been consolidating now in what looks to me like a beautiful ascending triangle. So we have a reaccumulative structure. The SPX looks to me like it's looking to break out through 53.26, and the measured move in the SPX is 53.87, and the on the spools we're looking at 5,400, over 5,400. So these are all the targets we've been talking about for the last 3 or 4 months. If Nvidia fails to impress on earnings, I think the dip to 880 is going to be mercilessly bought, and we're going to have some really nice trade opportunities. So I always tell my guys, rejoice. You're a day trader. As long as stuff moves, we're going to make money, and stuff's about to move. So I'm really excited.
Okay, like, do you think anything has changed on like the economic front lately? We recently had the CPI, PPI, um, all that stuff. Do you think like anything's different with the Fed?
Uh, I have teenagers, you know, and whenever they do something bad, they fess up in steps. You know what I mean? Who ate the potato chips? I didn't eat the potato chips. Who ate the potato chips? Okay, maybe I had one. You just had one? Okay, maybe I had three. You just had three? The bag's empty. Okay, maybe I ate the whole thing in the next bag. I feel like the Fed's been slowly socializing the market on the idea for the past 3 to 5 months that that inflation is here to stay, and that there's certain sectors of the inflation equation that are a lot stickier than previously thought. And to use the 1970s as an analog doesn't work.
Well, okay, why doesn't it work?
It doesn't work for several reasons. Number one, we have a massive demographic shift in the United States, where you have a huge percentage of the population, the baby boomers. Okay, this is a massive secular shift in our economic workforce. The boomers represent our demographic peak. Okay, we're not going to surpass the boomers for a long time, if ever, and that represents a real crunch in the labor market. Not just the labor market, but a real threat to productivity, in the sense that the baby boomers aren't only the wealthiest generation and the biggest generation; they're also the most skilled generation. Okay, so that is, the fact that all of these highly skilled workers are retiring is not only highly inflationary, but also a big threat to productivity.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because anybody that's had to make like any home repairs or anything, if you need to hire a plumber or an electrician or any kind of skilled tradesman, um, prices have gone up quite a bit along with everything else. I mean, so when you're talking about demographic shifts, do you just mean basically the lower birth rate?
Not just the lower birth rate, but the fact that we have a giant sector of our workforce, the wealthiest and most highly skilled, retiring, and it's leaving a very large gap, productivity and skills gap in our economy, which is most certainly a threat to both productivity and inflation.
Okay, so
I need, yeah.
do you think the market is pricing like that type of inflationary pressure, which I haven't heard people talk about? Like, do you think that's something the market's just like pretty much ignoring for now?
I think the market's pricing in the next decade's secular boom of AI productivity. I think that's why Nvidia will be mercilessly bought almost no matter what.
Okay, so aside from whether those, like aside from what the market is pricing in, do you think there really will be an AI-driven productivity boom?
It'll be greater than anyone can fathom.
Like, can you like give me some examples of that?
In the data sciences, we're going to make breakthroughs that would have taken years and days. We're going to have immense gains in energy generation, in propulsion, breakthroughs in physics, mathematics.
Okay, so all right, so last week I asked Scott Redler a question. I asked him if I was to give him $1 million of any, he could choose any stock in the world. I would give him $1 million for it, and he would have to hold it for 5 years. Like, if I gave that proposal to you, what would you want to own for the next 5 years?
Well, the safe bet would be the SPY, obviously. I don't know what he said. The
He
young
said,
man's bet would be Nvidia.
okay, because I'm saying, because if you think there will be these massive changes from AI, like, are you investing for that?
In my long-term portfolio, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like okay, yeah. So talk a little bit about that, like because we have a very big community of day traders here, but those people they also do long term investing, and a lot of them are also doing some degree of buy and hold. So what are you when you're looking out on that very long time horizon? What do you like?
Well, the greatest bulwark against inflation is artificial intelligence, by far. Imagine a world where energy is practically free, where either with whether it's nuclear fusion or some other means of energy generation, where propulsion is able to take us uh, places so quickly that we're able to live wherever we want, where um, desalination is so cheap that you can have a second agricultural revolution in places like Saharan Africa, where it's really difficult and expensive to grow food. These are all highly deflationary trends. So the currency of the future, in my opinion, if you ask people today, I'm not an economist, but do have a little common sense, the currency of the day is the petrodollar. I believe that the currency of the future will be processing power.
Okay, our friend Rick T just commented. You just described Star Trek scenario. So okay, so I'll have to put on my conspiracy hat, conspiracy theory hat, a little bit, because like I've heard about. I'm heavily invested in nuclear energy, by the way, so I'm definitely biased, and I want to see more nuclear energy. At the same time, I also think that these like highly entrenched industries um, seem like they're good at resisting new things. Um, you know what I mean? Like I can't imagine a world where like oil usage really goes down that much. Um, like stuff like that. Um, so so do you really think that like those types of industries will really be turned upside down to a major degree?
Well, we're always going to be dependent on petrochemicals. I'm not saying we won't, and we're going to be burning gas for a long time. But there will come a point where electricity will be so abundant that it'll make no sense to pay $100 to fill up um, you know a truck full of diesel or gas. It's going to make no sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think I live in New
There's no
York.
resisting that. There's no amount of Illuminati in back rooms that can thwart that eventually.
Yeah, our friend Wilson in the chat says F-150 for life. So he does not believe. Okay, so do you think that so like there's an interesting push pull here because you're talking about these um, inflationary forces from demographic changes plus deflationary pressures from AI longer term. So how do those two ideas get reconciled in your head?
Well, we have a greater secular trend ensconced within a cyclical trend. In terms of the cyclical time frame, we're looking at an inflationary cycle that could last a few years, right? We're also retooling the entire supply chain away from China. That's highly inflationary. We're doing a lot of really inflationary things, and I don't want to get political and talk about specific policies, but there have been many policies that have been highly inflationary in the past decade or so. Okay, spanning multiple presidencies, some more than others, and you have a lot of elements currently that I think are going to cause inflation to be sticky for a long time. But in terms of the secular trend and the changes coming, in terms of the engineering realm, I think we're going to have a really strong deflationary plunge and a wealth generation unlike we've ever seen before.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I disagree to the extent because I feel like corporations and government lean towards bureaucracy and because I mean I heard that we heard the same thing with the boom of the internet, like I remember people saying that the internet was going to destroy accountants and lawyers because like web apps or whatever would do the work in the middle. So I will, and also like when you look at like a company like Twitter, where Elon Musk laid off 80% of the people, and it's the app is a little screwy. It obviously doesn't function as well as like Instagram or Facebook, but it's still going just fine. And we have all these companies and governments with all technological know-how to drive efficiencies, but it seems like it never happens. So I don't know. I think maybe I'm just like inherently.
I'm not taking a Luddite position. I'm not saying AI is going to exterminate humanity. I'm just saying it's going to make it much wealthier. It's going to allow humans to be more productive and pursue more productive enterprises and generate a whole lot of wealth, which is why I think it's really important to continue to participate in the markets. Those who are participating in the markets in the next few decades are going to generate a tremendous amount of wealth.
Yeah, I think we can definitely both agree on that. So we will.
I mean, in the 1860s, people thought that that horse-drawn carriages were going to be eliminated by the steam engine, and that was going to be the end of all industry and humanity, and it created the greatest, one of the greatest economic booms in human history, right? I think the AI revolution is no different, unless it decides to kill us all. That would be a problem.
You think?
That would be a big problem.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't quite. I mean, do you buy into the possibility of an actual like Terminator scenario where Skynet decides that we are the enemy?
No, but I do fear. I do feel nefarious human agents trading AI and the values they may inculc in an artificial intelligence. I wouldn't want it, ISIS getting their hands on artificial intelligence, for example.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Okay, so kind of circling back a little bit, are you invested in stocks like Nvidia for the long, or Nvidia or Microsoft or Google, whatever it is, for the long term?
Yeah, I've been in AMD and Nvidia for years. Microsoft for 12 years. Apple since I was old enough to walk. I mean, yeah, they're going to continue to drive tremendous growth.
Okay, how do you feel about Tesla? Because I've heard a lot of people floating the idea that since Tesla has so much information on people's driving habits and things, that they're going to have some kind of unique data. They have some kind of unique data stronghold on AI and transportation. Like, so how do you feel about Tesla?
I have to dial 911. I heard shots fired. I just need a minute here. I just heard shots fired. This triggers people to no end. Look, I think Tesla has a brilliant future ahead of it. Dan Ives theory that Tesla is more than an EV company is, I think, correct. The problem is that their EV business or core business sucks right now, and that a lot of the shine around EVs is sort of tarnished. That being said, there's tremendous potential in Tesla in terms of the insurance business, the AI business, their analytics business, and robotics. All those things could be huge winners in the future.
Yeah. I mean, I do think it does seem like a bit of a PR, because I think Musk himself started this as like a very clever PR ploy. Like as soon as when the car business started turning down, he started floating the AI stuff to kind of keep their time horizons looking out past like whatever it is the next few quarters.
But, Elon Musk overpromises 300%, delivers 50%, but that usual 50% a decade later is usually good enough to drive stock prices higher, right? If you've been following Elon Musk for the past decade, he's done nothing but overpromise and underdeliver. But what he delivers is so solid that it continues to shine. So I continue to expect Tesla and Elon Musk to do the same thing: overpromise, underdeliver, and win. Just because you're under delivering doesn't mean you're not winning.
Yeah, it's like the over promising is the marketing, because he knows
it's their only marketing. They don't have a marketing
well
team.
I mean, could it be but I mean, like, what could be better if, because like whatever he says, people start talking about it, and there are, like, he does do a lot of clever psychological tricks, getting people thinking past the sale, and it just always keeps Tesla in the news.
Yeah, the problem with Tesla is that the biggest single point of failure of Tesla is Elon himself. You know, Elon obviously wouldn't wish any ill on anyone, but if Elon unfortunately keeled over of a heart attack tomorrow, you know, what's left? That's a big problem.
But I mean, I think people kind of thought the same thing about Steve. Is there like a parallel with Steve Jobs? Because I remember a lot of people were saying, you know, Apple's done with once Steve Jobs was gone. So, like, do you think there's any parallels with that?
Apple at that point had almost 30 years of institutional firming and Tim Cook. I don't know if Tesla has a Tim Cook who could drive that vision forward without Elon Musk. I think it's a really different scenario.
And Elon he makes interesting life choices, so I think that's something we all have to think about. Okay, all right.
I wish she would just stop tweeting. Is my only, you know.
No, you see, I have to disagree with you there, because
oh god, here we go.
No, I've heard. I can't take credit for this idea, but Jr., were you a Guns N' Roses fan?
Sure.
So, I heard somebody talking about this very issue, because Axl Rose had problems fighting with people in the crowd, saying all kinds of crazy stuff, getting arrested, being on heroin. And
I've seen them live. Trust me, I know.
Yeah, okay. And people are asking the question, why doesn't he just stop doing this stuff? It's because, like, it's who you get none of the good stuff without all of the craziness. So, like, you could not get the positives of Elon Musk without all the crazy nonsense. That you can't have one without the other.
Yeah, but like, if Jensen Huang died tomorrow, again, huge Jensen Huang fan. It's a dark thought, not wishing it, but Nvidia would probably be just fine. You know what I mean? I can't say the same for Tesla.
Yeah, I think Tesla might have. I think an interesting thing with Tesla is it's hard to know who's the driver on the like the operational side, because car manufacturing is ridiculously complex. Like, I used to work for Toyota when I was younger, and Toyota was, at that point, was like by far the quality leader. And even there, the managers were insanely paranoid about the production process, because because you're dealing with like thousands of suppliers, and EVs are like relatively new technology, and like one mess up can have catastrophic effects. It's not like pushing a software update to an iPhone or an iPad, or even a recall. Like, recalling a car is a big deal. Yeah, so to me, that I often wonder about that, is like, is there somebody, like, is there a Tim Cook somewhere inside Tesla that we don't know about that can kind of keep the train on the rails?
Yeah, I think the key to Tesla's long-term survival is to make good on their promise to Tesla that they're really a technology company and not just a car manufacturer. And I think they can do it, but you know, with Elon Musk, I take whatever he says and I add a decade to it, and it seems to work out. So, long-term holders, I think you're fine. Short-term, it's going to be a bumpy ride.
Okay. So how do you feel about Tesla stock here?
Tesla's consolidating nicely. We went long Tesla yesterday off the open. Right away, it was a beautiful move. I liked Tesla. It had a really nice, tight reaccumulative base, and we just took it off the open and traded it throughout the day. It actually went a lot further than I thought it was going to, but it was just a beautiful trade into the 186 handle. Right now, if you look at the daily chart, the key level is to watch is the 169 handle. To me, it looks like another larger reaccumulative base within a downtrend, and it just has to get past that declining top line in the trend, make a higher pivot low on the daily, and I think we're off to the races.
Okay. All right. Okay, guys. Before we go, I want to invite you guys to join JR's room, the Momentum Express VTF. You can save $146 on your first month if you go to t3live.com/JRlive. Again, you get trading room access, live audio, video, and chat. You get coaching sessions and a very, very friendly trading community. Again, it's just $49 for your first month. I have a typo here, which is very rare for me. t3live.com/JR Live. So, JR, next week we're going to have to talk about.
Wait. This month we're including a free NVIDIA tattoo, a tramp stamp of your own NVIDIA design included if you join today.
Okay. Our friend Wilson, he claims this room has the best degenerates and pirates. I don't know if you know that name, JR.
Yes.
Wilson, this is very offensive. We cannot have this type of language being associated with T3.
The community is insulted.
Yeah, we cannot have that. So guys, let us know in the chat. These sort of like wide-ranging discussions about the economy and Elon Musk's nuttiness. Let us know if you want to hear more of this type of stuff. I wanted to bring JR down the road of Freudian psychoanalysis, but maybe that shall wait till the JR, the death drive, I think has real applications to traders. So, guys, we will be back again next week, next Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Go to t3live.com/JRlive, t3live.com/JRlive to sign up. And everyone, have fun with NVIDIA earnings tonight. We know it's going to be a big party. And JR, as always, thank you. I love working with you. I love talking to you. Have a good day.
Love you too, man. Take care.
Bye.